The Bite of the Mango, Chapter 17. I actually watched as the airplane descended into Toronto Pearson's International Airport. I can't see anything except white, I exclaimed as I peered out. Are we dead? No, Comfort laughed. We're just going through the clouds. We've been traveling for about 19 hours. The best outfit I owned, an Africana red, yellow, and green docket and lapa, was now well wrinkled. I felt dirty, even though I had washed my face and brushed my teeth 3 times since boarding the flight from London to Toronto. The plane dipped. Whoa, I yelped, grabbing Comfort's arm and burying my head into her neck. She didn't push me away this time. It's just turbulent, she said. Look now. She pointed out the window. I gasped at the sprawling city below. It was so big. My eyes caught a large patch of green, followed by brown cement houses and then more green. I'm going to like Canada better than England, I thought. Already I can see color. Inside the terminal, a customs official fingered through my passport, pausing to look at my visa. Welcome to Canada, she said with a smile. As we walked out into the arrivals area, I braced myself for the first sights and smells of this new land. What I got instead were voices calling my name, then blinding camera flashes and people thrusting their arms out to reach me. What's going on? I asked Comfort. They are journalists, she replied. But what do they want with me? I asked. I guess they are fascinated by your story. I shrank behind Comfort as she smiled for the cameras, but I wasn't her picture for journalists wanted. It was mine. The camera stopped flashing. Come on, Mariatu, she turned to whisper in my ear. We'll find Bill and be rid of all this. 2 men in uniforms walked up to me and said hello in English. I was scared at first. Police in Freetown are usually rough, and these 2 men, they are serious expressions, and their stiff, strong walks look like police officers too. When they told Comfort and me to follow them, I thought I was in trouble. Maybe they knew I didn't belong in Canada. After all, I was a poor Sierra Leone village girl who had used to beg for food. But these police seemed nice. They walked on either side of us, protecting Comfort and me from the journalists. They directed us to the very back of the waiting area, to a tall blonde man. Beside him were a blonde woman and a boy about the same age as me. Hello, the man said, shaking Comfort's hand. I'm Bill. Bill's wife, Shelley, and son, Richard, each gave me a hug. Bill slipped a gold chain with a charm on it around my neck. As he and Shelley talked to the journalist, I ran my right arm over the smooth gold. No one had ever given me jewelry before. A few minutes later, we all posed for a photograph. I smiled, following Comfort's lead. It was the heat that struck me first when we got outside. Toronto was warm, like Sierra Leone. Toronto was humid, too, just like home. The air smelled fresh, as if I had been a shower. Where's the snow? I asked Comfort when we were tucked beside each other in the back seat of Bill's minivan. I'd never known anyone who owned their own pota, but here many people seemed to be driving them. Comfort laughed. The snow came in the winter, she said, which was still a few months away. Don't worry, Mariatu. It will get very cold. I wasn't sure how much Comfort really knew about Canada. The only place she'd ever been outside of Sierra Leone was Ghana, and she'd still accompanied me to get my visa, but I didn't argue. I had to trust her wisdom as I didn't speak English very well and couldn't ask Bill directly. Comfort rolled down my window, and as we drove, I gazed out at the green fields of grasses and funny dark green trees with leaves that looked like needles. Where's all the garbage? I asked Comfort at one point. Freetown's garbage truck had stopped running during the war, and the streets were filled with litter, everything from empty cigarette packages to broken plastic bottles. They throw everything away in plastic bags here, Comfort replied in Creole. People buy whatever they want in North America, and when they don't want it anymore, the garbage trucks take it away. Her words made me scared. What if I am not what this Canadian family expects? I asked myself. What if they get rid of me? On the street where Bill and his family lived, it was so quiet at night that I could hear crickets, just like back in Megbrew. As in England, I had my own bedroom with a single bed and a fluffy patchwork quilt that Comfort said was a bedspread for when the nights got chilly. A big window framed with frilly white curtains faced out to a forest. The sun seemed to shine all the time in Canada, and we went for long walks in the hills. Shelley made us Western-style lunches and dinners of grilled cheese sandwiches, pizza, spaghetti, and salads. After a few days of getting settled, Bill told me we'd been invited to a party. On the way there, he and Shelley took me to get my hair braided. The woman who did my hair was black-skinned. Though she didn't speak Temne, I understand a little of what was being said, but I like getting the colorful ceramic beads woven into my hair. When we were finished, we drove to another part of the city. Bill pulled up in front of the two-story house, and a Sierra Leonean woman with a wide smile opened the front door. "Welcome," she said in Temne, her eyes sparkling. Behind her stood a tall, older man with short hair. Come in," he beamed, opening his arms. A grin crossed my face as I stepped inside. I was back home, or so it seemed. Kadi and Abu Naib's house was full of Sierra Leonean wood carvings and paintings and photographs of people wearing traditional African outfits and headpieces. As they led me through the kitchen, I smelled the rich, spicy aromas of simmering Sierra Leonean dishes. In the backyard, I could hear children laughing. I had one of the best times of my life that afternoon. I kicked a soccer ball around with some of the Katie and Abu's nieces and nephews. I met and talked about Sierra Leone and Megbrue with some girls my own age, who had grown up not that far from where I did, in a town called Makini. One of the girls told me that Katie and Abu had been living in Canada ever since before the war. When the fighting started, they had brought many of their family members to Toronto to escape the violence. The girl explained to me that a summer backyard party in North America is usually called a barbecue, and that people cook hot dogs, hamburgers, and steaks on coal and grass-burning outdoor stoves. She laughed. In Sierra Leone, we cooked all our food that way. Every day is a barbecue, she kidded. Don't worry, Katie jumped in, sitting down across from me. We have chicken and hot dogs for those who want to eat Western style, and Sierra Leonean food for you. I bet you miss home. By the time we left, it was close to midnight. Katie and Abu hugged me goodbye, and I invited me back to come back soon. When I fell asleep that night, my head was filled with happy thoughts. I really loved being around Katie, Abu, and their family, and eating Sierra Leonean food again. My mind soon flooded with many thoughts of home. It felt as if I had just drifted off to sleep when I felt someone shaking my shoulder. It was Bill. He had turned the light on in my room and was sitting on the corner of the bed, his index finger to his lips to say, "Shush." Bill pointed silently at my clothes, then a small backpack. He smiled and said, "I'm taking you to see Katie and Abu again." Although my English was poor, I understood it was still dark outside, but I didn't care what time it was. Bill left the room as I changed. He then thrust a carton of juice and a banana in my arms before we got into the car and left. When we arrived at Katie and Abu's house about an hour later, Katie was waiting in the driveway. She explained in Temne that Bill wanted me to spend the day with her. "You are more than welcome," she said. "Some of the girls from yesterday will be home for the day, too." Bill handed Katie my backpack, which I had tossed in the back seat of the car. He gave me a hug goodbye and hopped back into his automobile. I had an eerie feeling as he drove away that I might never see him again.